Greetings to everyone and welcome again to Christ Centered. This, of course, is our Monday edition with Christian Denominationalism 101 in America, or Christian Denominations in America 101, which is our continued study on denominationalism in the United States. And we're going to, over time, of course, study different denominations. We reviewed the 15 largest Protestant denominations in the United States in our first study, and we also have began studying the Southern Baptist Convention. And of course, we've been off for a few weeks because of different issues, so we're going to take a minute to recap, and more than likely the idea would be when this airs, we will also be airing the episode prior to this that dealt with denominationalism, so that way you can watch both and be caught up. But I'm also going to do a brief recap here about the Southern Baptist Convention. But before we get started, I just want to take a minute and apologize for being several weeks since we've been here on a Monday. We had technical difficulties with uploading our videos. That was one problem. And then we ran into issues as far as schooling and so forth, and of course with me, I mentioned on one of the broadcasts, I think last week, that I have had a lot of work to do, and I've also been very much behind this semester. It's been a very long, tedious semester, and it's one that I have not stayed caught up as well as I would like. So I've been granted extensions and I've been granted grace, and now I'm trying to finish it up. So keep me in prayer, along with prayer requests. I would say also keep my grandmother in prayer, Dorothy Moorfield. Yesterday on Sunday, she was, well actually I guess it was the night before that, on Saturday night, she was taken to the hospital again with breathing issues, and she has pneumonia again. So keep her in prayer. It's become a cycle of being in and out of the hospital for her, so she needs all the prayer she can get. Now, back to the Southern Baptist Convention. And all of our research is coming from Wikipedia. So the Southern Baptist Convention, or the SBC, is a United States-based Christian denomination. It's the world's largest Baptist denomination and the largest Protestant body in the United States, with nearly 16 million members as of the year 2012. It also makes it the second largest Christian body in the United States after the Catholic Church. So this is a really big group, and this, of course, is the largest that we will be covering. And of course, it talks about what happened before and after the American Civil War, and the split from the Northern Baptists, and it really had to do with slave owners, and basically they split over the issue of forbidding Southern slave owners from becoming ordained missionaries. Members at a regional convention held in Augusta, Georgia, created the Southern Baptist Convention in 1845. So there you have the origin, and a lot of it, and it's just like most of the issues at that time. There was just these huge issues with slavery and with race, and it seems like this is really where it was rooted from. And the cool thing about this is, here we are in, it's 2014 now, but in the year 2012, the SBC elected as president Fred Luther Jr., who was the first African American to hold the position. So there's definitely a lot of change happening in the Southern Baptist Church. And we're going to continue here because basically now we're going to go more into a thorough history of it. So I want to begin discussing the period before the American Revolution, and then we'll talk about the period during the American Revolution. And then at that point, we'll stop and then come back next week and continue. And of course, if you want to follow along, go to wikipedia.org and type in the Southern Baptist Convention. All this information is on there, or you could Google it or go to google.com, type it in the search engine, Southern Baptist Convention, and one of the first things you will see is its area on wikipedia.org. And I'll begin reading. I'm going to review this now, some of the early history. Most early Baptists in the British colonies came from England in the 17th century after the established Church of England persecuted them for their dissenting religious views. The oldest Baptist church in the South, First Baptist Church of Charleston, South Carolina, was organized in 1682 under the leadership of Reverend William Scriven. A Baptist church was formed in Virginia in 1715 through the preaching of Robert Norden, and another in North Carolina in 1727 through the ministry of Paul Palmer. The Baptists operated independently of the state-established Anglican churches in the South at a time when non-Anglicans were prohibited from holding political office. And there's politics coming into view here. By 1740, there were about 8 Baptist churches in the colonies of Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina, with an estimated 300 to 400 members. New members, both black and white, were converted chiefly by Baptist preachers who traveled throughout the South during the 18th and 19th centuries and the eras of the First Great Awakening and the Second Great Awakening. Baptists welcomed African Americans, both slave and free, allowing them to have more active roles in ministry than did other denominations by licensing them as preachers, and in some cases allowing them to be treated as equals to white members. As a result, black congregations and churches were founded in Virginia, South Carolina, and Georgia before the American Revolution. Some black congregations kept their independence even after whites tried to exercise more authority after the Nat Turner Slave Rebellion of 1831. And now we're dealing with the American Revolution period. And before the Revolution, Baptists and Methodist evangelicals in the South had promoted the view of the common man's equality before God, which embraced slaves and free blacks. They challenged the hierarchies of class and race and urged planters to abolish slavery. They welcomed slaves as Baptists and accepted them as preachers. Isaac, from 1974, analyzes the rise of the Baptist Church in Virginia with emphasis on evangelicalism and social life. There was a sharp division between the austerity of the plain living Baptists, attracted initially from yeomen and common planters, and the opulence of the Anglican planters, the slave-holding elite who controlled local and colonial government in what had become a slave society by the late 18th century. The gentry interpreted Baptist church discipline as political radicalism, but it served to ameliorate disorder. The Baptists intensely monitored each other's moral conduct, watching especially for sexual transgressions, cursing, and excessive drinking. They expelled members who would not reform. In Virginia and in most southern colonies before the Revolution, the Church of England was the state-established church and supported by general taxes, as it was in Britain. It opposed the rapid spread of Baptists in the South, particularly in Virginia. Many Baptist preachers were prosecuted for disturbing the peace by preaching without licenses from the Anglican Church. Both Patrick Henry and the young attorney James Madison defended Baptist preachers prior to the American Revolution in cases considered significant to the history of religious freedom. In 1779, Thomas Jefferson wrote the Virginia Statute for Religious Freedom, enacted in 1786 by the Virginia General Assembly. Madison later applied his own ideas and those of the Virginia document related to religious freedom during the Constitutional Convention, when he ensured that they were incorporated into the national Constitution. I think this is something we should pay close attention to because we're dealing now with the freedom of religion here as well. The struggle for religious toleration erupted and was playing out during the American Revolution as the Baptists worked to disestablish the Anglican Church in the South. Beeman, in 1978, explores the conflict in one Virginia locality, showing that as its population became more dense, the county court and the Anglican Church were able to increase their authority. The Baptists protested vigorously. The resulting social disorder resulted chiefly from the ruling gentry's disregard for public need. The vitality of the religious opposition made the conflict between evangelical and gentry styles a bitter one. Kroll Smith in 1984 suggests that the strength of the evangelical movement's organization determined its ability to mobilize power outside the conventional authority structure. Now, I think one thing we need to discuss next time is the difference between evangelical and gentry styles. Those two styles are something that, if you're not well studied on this, you may not understand. So I think next time when we study denominationalism, I think we're going to dig on that a little bit deeper so we can understand this a little bit better. So anyway, hope to see you again tomorrow on Christ-Centered for our next episode, and definitely next Monday as we continue our study on denominationalism in America. We'll look forward to seeing you again, and God bless you, and have a great day.